Sometimes as a reader, you just lose interest. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and today guys, we are talking about some series that unfortunately, me as a reader, I've lost interest in. Before we get into this, please like this video and subscribe to the channel as it does help the channel grow. You can check out the links down below for links to the Patreon, the Discord, Pango Books. It's all there for you to rifle through and explore. Now, with that out of the way, some of the books here are listed on my Pango Books, but they're still in my possession. Some are still on my shelves because I'm undecided on whether or not I'm going to DNF or if I'm going to... I don't know. These are certain ones, like, one of them I'm planning to, give away. Others I'm planning to knuckle down and try and get through. So what you can do is you can let me know your thoughts on any of these series in the comment section down below. And I will take that into advisement. Some of them I'm still going to try and knuckle down and read, and other ones of them I'm just like, it's time to say... so long, farewell, Alfitos, and goodbye. So we're going to start off this list with John Scalzi's The Collapsing Empire. And essentially, this is The Collapsing Empire, but I forget the name of the series. I bought this series on accident. And I don't know if, what is this one called? Sometimes it's like in the back of the book. We'll see. Is it in the back of the book? I don't know. Collapsing Empire. Anyway, there's 3 books in this, obviously, because it's a trilogy. And I was buying up Old Man's War books. And I accidentally bought book 2 in this series. And then I was like, oh, I'm a compulsive book collector. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy books 1 and 3. And then I haven't looked at them a single time. They're currently listed on my Pango Books. However, if enough people are like, hey, you should probably read that, it's actually really good, maybe I can change my mind on these, but realistically, these were just literally purchased because I'm a compulsive book collector, and I bought the wrong book, and then it ended up on my shelf, and so I never even bought these with the intention to read them, and which is why it's on this list. So there's the first one. Next up, we've got, I don't know why I've got book 2 up here, but we've got Kithamar by Daniel Abraham. And the only thing I've ever enjoyed reading from Daniel Abraham is Long Price Quartet. I really don't like the Expanse books, which he is part of, James S.A. Corey. And so because of that reason, I think I've overall loved 1.5 of the Expanse books. Everything else I just thought was blech. I don't understand the hype of that series. I really don't. It's not something that appeals to me. I think it's poor character writing, bad world building. It's really cool action and really cool concepts, but everything else is kind of left wanting in The Expanse. And I've heard Age of Ash book 1 is very, very mixed. And so I haven't been able to bring myself to read Age of Ash and Blade of Dreams. Now, I will say that when Daniel Abraham is writing on his own, Long Price Quartet is phenomenal. But The Expanse, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, which is why I didn't buy Mercy of the Gods. I have no interest in Mercy of the Gods or anything James S.A. Corey. And so that's kind of just left me here. This is currently, I believe, listed on Pango just because I've had Age of Ash since release, or since, I think 2 months after release. And I haven't read it yet. I haven't even tried to read it yet. And so that's why this is currently on the list, where I've just kind of lost interest in it. I don't have any particular faith that it's going to wow me and be a worthwhile reading experience. I've got book 3 of, I believe this is the Conqueror's trilogy? No, that sounds wrong. Sounds wrong to my ear. The Engineer trilogy. No, the Engineer trilogy is something completely different, Andrew. What are we talking about here? It's not even listed as a trilogy. But basically, there's 16 ways to defend a walled city. There's the second one, which is name I don't remember. And then a practical guide to conquering the world. I've read about 20% of this. I put it down because I was just kind of bored and walked away. And I feel like this entire trilogy has been about a 3.5 to 4 star rating experience. They're good books, but they're not anything that I would particularly classify as palate cleanser or anything I would particularly reach for when I was looking for a solid, like, wowing reading experience. They're just something like, yeah, that was mildly entertaining. Now let's never think about that again. And that's kind of where I've fallen on with this trilogy. It's just okay. And so I've already NFN'd this once. And that was probably 5 months ago, and it hasn't gone back on my TBR at least once. Like, this has been on my list to finish reading the entire trilogy for the whole year, and it's not done. So, yeah, this is on the list as well. Little KJ Parker. And then I'm prepared to be yelled at for this one. We've got Raising Steam. I loved Going Postal. This is the Moist Von Liquid trilogy. I loved Going Postal. And I was incredibly disappointed by Making Money. And I've been told that if I didn't like Making Money, I'm not going to like Raising Steam. Which is why, like, when I gave Going Postal such a glowing review, I loved it. I was back into Discworld. And if you know me, Discworld's very, very hit and miss. Like, if it's not the City Watch books and, like, 1.5 of the Death books, I'm not really interested. I did, like, one or two of the Witches books, so I thought were pretty good. Well, one was really good, one was alright, and then the third one was just a dumpster fire. And so, like, I'm very mixed when it comes to Discworld. I am not somebody who's gonna be like, you have to read Discworld! And because of that, like, here we are, this is unread. Maybe someday it will get read, like, this is still on the shelf. There's still a potential for me to read this, but I'm not excited for this. So if you have a different opinion and you're like, nah, this is a step up for Making Money, please let me know. Because Making Money was an incredible disappointment to me. So we've got that one. And then this is on the list because I've been meaning to read. I thought I was going to finish Regante in 2023. And we're at the end of 2024, essentially. And I'm just now getting to finishing Draenei. So it pains me to have a David Gemmell on here. But Midnight Falcon, which is the book that comes before this, was so incredibly good that, like, I felt like that was a complete story. And I know that from that story to this one, we've got a 700-year time jump. And I'm just like, okay, like, sure, why not? I don't know. I haven't been prioritizing David Gemmell as much as I was in 2023, which is making me sad. I read like 12 David Gemmell books last year. Last year? Yes, that's correct. Last year. And then, well, in 2023. I don't know when I'm posting this video. You know me. I record everything in advance. But, yeah, like, I think I've read 2 or 3 David Gemmells this year. And that's something I really need to be a lot better on, is to read more David Gemmell. So this is still on the shelf. It will be read. It's just not something I've prioritized because I've kind of just moved on from Regante. Despite the fact that I've only got 2 books left to read. So there's that. And then we've got this. Deception by A.C. Cobble. This is Warhite. And I'm considering doing a giveaway on my Patreon when I receive my 4th book. Because I really liked Conspiracy. I can't even tell you the name of book 2. I'm going to have to actually cheat and look it up because I was just so underwhelmed by it. I thought it was just okay. Let's see. What's book number 2 called? I could just turn around. Revenge. It was called Revenge. This is Deception. I don't even know what the name of book 4 is. I've been waiting so long for that Kickstarter that I've actually kind of lost interest in the series. The book released standard, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, and the Kickstarter is just now getting ready to ship out, and I've just overall just lost interest in this series. Great, stunning editions, but overall I think I'm just going to move on. I think I'm going to do a giveaway on my Patreon for the 4 Kickstarter editions that I do have, and then that's that. Because I couldn't even tell you who any of the characters are in that book. Then we've got Dune, and specifically we're holding Children of Dune. I liked Dune. I loved Dune, actually. I liked Dune Messiah. But I didn't love Dune Messiah. And so I've been struggling. Like, I got about 20% into Children of Dune. And then I just put it down and moved on to something else. And I really want to have at least read the first 3 Dune books. I think at some point I will read Children of Dune. But it is not something I have prioritized at all. I even went so far as to get rid of my Folio Dune, because I had no intention of spending the money that Folio wants for Dune Messiah and Children of Dune. I just didn't have any interest in it. I thought Dune, the first book itself, is phenomenal, but Messiah's okay, and then Children of Dune, I think is supposed to be amazing, but of what I read, it just didn't interest me at all, anywhere close to the original Dune book, so there's that. And then this one makes me really sad, because they're still on my shelf, but I don't know if and when I'll ever continue this series. Specifically, we're talking about the Asian Saga by James Clavell. I may just end up unhauling the entire Asian Saga and then getting that out-of-print hardcover leather-bound edition of Shogun, because each one of these is a standalone, and I loved Shogun. And I hear Taipan is actually supposed to be even better than Shogun, and I just can't bring myself to believe it. And because I can't bring myself to believe that it's better than Shogun, I've completely frozen this series out. Like, I had this on a TBR 3 months ago. I think I read 2% of it and then just put it down and lost all interest in even continuing it. And that makes me incredibly sad, because I hear this is amazing and I want to continue it. Speaking of something that's supposed to be amazing and I just don't believe it, is Pillars of Earth by Ken Follett. I have lost all interest in this series after reading, I think, the first 10% of Pillars of Earth. I couldn't care less about this book. I tried it on audio, mainly because if I tried to physically read this, it would take me forever, and then I would read nothing else, and then I would just start drowning in books. But I don't know. I don't have a particular interest in reading this book. This may be getting listed on Pango Books, the entire series. I've got, I believe, the first 4. I know a 5th one came out, but I have no interest in reading this book. I thought the first protagonist was an absolute tool. I didn't like him. I can't even tell you his name. And I know it's like a generational story, and that we follow somebody else other than this absolute piece of garbage. And I'm being overly cruel. What's his name? It's not Alfred. Tom. I think his name is Tom. I didn't like Tom. I thought Tom sucked. It really bothered me that Tom's with this girl, or with this woman, who he calls the love of his life, and then he just undresses every woman he sees with his eyes as we meet them. Every single one. He's just like, oh, this woman who's given me these 3 kids, or however many kids he's had, she's my soulmate, and she's stuck with me through thin and thin, even when I lose jobs, and she travels with me, and does all this. And that's his inner monologue. And then, like, also on his inner monologue, whenever he lays eyes on somebody who happens to be of a female persuasion, he's just, ooga! And I'm just like, dude, I hate you. So I immediately, like, I got to, like, the first end where he arrives in town, and then, like, he gets, I think, his pig stolen or something like that, and he, like, finds the guy who's got his pig. And I just put the book down and walked away, and that was 6 months ago. I'm sure this book is amazing, and I can hear you guys yelling at me in the comments down below saying, I didn't read enough and I didn't get it. I'm sure I don't get it, but I don't know. Tom doesn't interest me at all, so tell me what page Tom goes away, and I'll just skip to there, or maybe I'll force myself to endure more Tom, and then the book will hopefully be amazing, but that's currently something I've lost interest in. And then, I'm really negative this video, aren't I? I guess it's a negative topic, but I'm just trying to be as brutally honest as I can. We've got right here, Bloodsworn Trilogy. This is John Gwyn. I love John Gwyn. I love Faithful and the Fallen, but since Faithful and the Fallen, every book I've read from John Gwyn has just been not as good as Faithful and the Fallen. Like, they're still really good. I like the follow-up of Blood and Bone Trilogy, but I didn't love it. And then I read the first one of this, what's it called? Shadow of the Gods. I knew it was something of the gods. This is Hunger of the Gods, book number 2. And I thought book 1 was just okay. I didn't really vibe or connect with any of the characters. Like, I understood their justifications, but the character themselves, I didn't connect with them the same way I did with Corbin and the gang in Faithful and the Fallen. And so, like, while I was just like, oh, that sucks that somebody's kidnapped your kids, or you've lost your purpose in life, or, you know, you've figured this thing out about yourself, and we've got this big, gigantic conflict, but I I felt like I was on the outside looking in to these characters' lives instead of being in their head, in the action. And there was just that disconnect. And I mean, I read Shadow of the Gods last year, 2023, I believe. And I still haven't read Hunger of the Gods. I haven't even attempted to read Hunger of the Gods. I've actually, well, I won't say I haven't attempted it. I've put this on my TBR like 3 times. And then got it. I think I recorded it maybe once, and then the other 2 times, like, it just got shoved aside for something else. So I even canceled my pre-order for the 3rd book, just because why would I buy the 3rd book when I'm not interested in book number 2? Hopefully that will change. This is something that's going to be staying on my shelf because I do love John Gwyn. But for right now, like, there we go. Orca and Varg. Those are the 2 characters I remember. I don't even remember who Elvar is, honestly. Elvar, I mean, the name sounds familiar. I would have to get a refresher or something. Maybe the cast of characters. Let's look up and see who Elvar is. Elvar Firefist. Not ringing a bell. Yeah, that doesn't ring a bell at all. So, again, like, there's a full main POV I don't even remember from this series. And that just kind of makes me sad. So, these are the 10 that are kind of on my lost interest in list, I guess I'm going to call it. I'm sorry for the negative video. Usually I'm not like this, but I was like, what is something brutally honest that I don't normally talk about on the channel? Well, it would be losing interest in series and why they stop appearing on my TBR, because they're still on my shelf. I just don't show them really any love. Now, feel free to kind of in the comments down below try and change my mind on some of these. I am more than happy to engage and be proven wrong and try these books and fall in love with them. Others of them I do have listed for sale. And yeah, I hope to hear from you in the comment section. Also, just let me know some books that you've kind of, or books/series that you've kind of lost interest in. Until next time, that's really all I've got for you today, guys. Peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons. Thank you for supporting my passion and my hobby. It means the world to me.